So now I'm going to come down and we're going to do a quick Q&A session for our speakers. So if they didn't cover anything in the presentation that you really wanted to know about, or maybe you heard something that they spoke about and you wanted to know more about on that topic, I'm going to come down and if you'll just raise your hand, I'll bring the mic to you and we can kick it off.
I'll just
Yes.
Like the center of the stage.
No, you take the center stage.
I'm a little upset that you said your age up here.
All right, don't everybody put your hands up at once. Oh, here we go. Would you like me to hold it? Okay.
Actually, this question kind of is more for Dwayne. I hope that's not a problem. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. I didn't know how it would be set up. I was just curious. You mentioned that customers' behaviors, purchasing behaviors, etc., have changed. I was hoping you could maybe elaborate a little bit on what you saw trend-wise and what you think it means.
I think the easiest example that I can come up with is, as you know, early on we had to lock our lobbies. People couldn't come in to transact business. We had more people come to the drive-up that had never been there before. And then mysteriously, when we opened the lobbies back up, they still come to the drive-up. I mean, that's the most pragmatic example I can come up with. And we saw a real increase in the use of debit cards. People that had never used their debit cards before suddenly were using their debit cards. We saw people sign up for internet banking that would never have signed up for internet banking before. And we see less of them in the bank. And so those are just three examples that I can come up with from the banking world that we saw initially.
I can add to that a little bit.
So one of the things that we've seen with a lot of the data that's been gathered nationally, I think I hit on this a little bit, is that consumers are no longer looking for what's the best deal. They are paying attention to what companies are doing, especially during the pandemic, and they're making their buying decisions based on what companies are actually aligning with their beliefs and where they are on some of these things. And companies that are taking a risk to set themselves apart are winning. So a couple of them that have really hit it out of the park, IKEA released the recipe for their Swedish meatball recipe. And that was a well-guarded secret for years and years, but they're like, people are locked in at home and they want something different. They released that, and then their fan base just went wild. DoubleTree Hotels did the same thing with their chocolate chip cookie recipe. You get your cookies every time you get to the hotel, and they wouldn't let that recipe out either. Same thing. Chick-fil-A did a really great job with how they were approaching the pandemic. They were one of the first restaurants to shut down their eat-in service, and they kept that shut. And then the videos they were putting out, they were bringing in their young people just sitting on a couch talking about how important it was to stay home, to keep each other safe. And if you drive by any Chick-fil-A ever, the line to get through that drive-through is just insane. So consumers really are paying attention to these things, and they're responding with their dollars.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. Who else has a question? I saw some hands over here, maybe. Okay, there you go.
First of all, Austin, I want to tell you that I think your food is great.
Thank you.
My son is Byron Hahn. I know you.
Yeah, good guy. Yep.
Wished you would come to Cameron. Just want to throw that out there.
We thought about delivery here.
So franchise.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do that in the other
Good job, Mark. Thank you.
60 or 70 hours I don't work.
Right.
But anyhow, I want to know. I own a real estate company, so from the marketing standpoint, I tell my agents we're a small company, and right here in Cameron. And as far as websites, when I hear you guys talk about your websites, I feel like it's really hard for us to develop a website because Zillow's throwing billions,
Right.
and Realtor.com, they're throwing billions
Right.
at those kind of things. So I see our social media more important than our website, and I just would know your opinion of
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts on it, Susan, also. But so I think that, fun that you say you're a realtor, because I always think of if I was a realtor, because I just think it'd be a fun marketing business. And I say that because, in my opinion, a lot of realtors are doing everything the other realtors are doing. So they're putting their face on a business card with their name, and they're putting their face on a billboard with their name. But where did that become the thing? We're going to put our face up on our business card. That's just like a realtor thing. I say that because in every avenue, everybody's kind of following suit. Where I think there is a huge opportunity for real estate. So I agree with you. Your social media is everything, and that will ultimately drive your website. But you can put all of your social media, all those posts into blogs on your website to start to create that content. But like, are you primarily here in Cameron?
Primarily.
Okay, so just an example. I always thought if I was a realtor, what I would do is I would become, I always say this, become the mayor of the town, okay? So I would interview other business owners on, do what? You're the mayor of this town. I mean it figuratively. Sorry. He keeps looking at me like, no, trust me, you don't want to do that. But you got to garner all the attention. And so if I was looking to move to Cameron, yeah, I can go on Zillow, I can go on Trulia. But what if I could go on your social media, which eventually leads me to your website, or maybe through SEO, Google search, it starts picking up your website because you have a really deep archive of blogs that you've created all about Cameron. So all of a sudden, I'm moving to Cameron. I need a place to live. You come up because you have all this content you've created. And I go through your content, and your content is you've sat down with, sorry, I don't like sitting down. You've sat down with local business owners in the area and just done interviews. You sit down with a local donut shop. You sit down with a local restaurant just to talk about the community. And then you have vlogs if you like doing video, blogs if you like writing, where, what's the neighborhood in Cameron? Sorry, I'm not super familiar. Like, what's the name of a popular neighborhood?
Eagles Landing.
Eagles Landing. Okay, right now, if you get on and you Google Eagles Landing Cameron, and I have no idea, I'm just assuming that there's no guide to living in Eagles Landing. Okay, so imagine if like you search Cameron, Missouri, Eagles Landing, and yours is the first thing that pops up to the top because you have a blog post where you talk all about Eagles Landing. Maybe it's a video where you sit down and talk about why you like the neighborhood. Hey, we really like the neighborhood because there's a lot of young couples and there's a lot of kids running around. Or hey, I really like the neighborhood because there's not kids and it's quiet. And you can go talk about the neighborhood, and you can do that with every pocket of Cameron, every pocket of any community, to where now you are the expert. Like, people are looking to buy Cameron. Yeah, they might go on Zillow, and they might see the little link on the right to 4 different realtors that can represent it, and they click on you, and then they end up leading to your website, or they found you through Google search to begin with, or through Facebook, and they find you, who all of a sudden you have all of this content all about Cameron. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I know it's easier said than done, but I think a lot of people, they think, I don't know what I'll talk about. Well, you don't have to talk about real estate. That's going to get awfully boring if all you talk about is real estate, real estate, real estate. I know Mark, and so insurance. So my cousin works with Mark, so he's there in insurance. I always tell Brandon, I'm like, man, insurance is boring. I don't want to sit and listen to insurance. I just don't. I don't think anybody in here would say that, oh, yeah, talk to me about insurance for an hour. No, nobody would do that. Mark might. But if you could sit down and you could talk about other things that are related to insurance in some regard, then you get the attention. So we're in supplements, we're in nutrition. We can talk about workouts. We can talk about sleeping better. We can talk about sexual health. We can talk about digestion. We can talk about all these things without talking about supplements, because that's going to get kind of boring. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Susan, you want to?
Ditto.
Awesome.
Well, the other thing, and to piggyback on that a little bit, it's so funny because the real estate companies we've worked with, we've done all of these things. The important point is that you want to know what your consumers care about and really getting that information in front of them. Facebook ads is a great place to do that, because if I'm a consumer, this is what Shark and Dyson are not doing, that they would know that, hey, I've been looking at houses and this is the area that I'm looking at, and you can set up your ads to target specific people that are doing that and fit into that criteria. So you don't necessarily have to do everything that Austin mentioned, but you could write it down and start prioritizing. And there's a lot of those things that you can do on your own that can have a really big impact. The other thing that I would really focus on too is your success stories. So throw up there who you've worked with, you know, whether they've moved to town or they're in town. what their experience was, get them to give you a review, do, a FaceTime just interview with them. So tell me why you chose me. What was your experience like? How long did it take to sell your house or find you a new house or whatever the case may be? It's that, touting yourself, but that's really important because that's what people are looking for. Are you going to put their best interests first and really partner with them in that? And if that's the case, you're going to be the one that they pick every time.
With retargeting too, targeting doesn't have to be, because I love the targeting, like people are buying Cameron, so you come up, and the targeting, which I know we agree on so much of this stuff. I know that the targeting doesn't have to be though, let me sell your house, let me buy you a home, let me help you buy a home. The targeting could be your content you've created. The targeting could be a testimonial. That stuff is valuable. I think like if I give you one actionable step to do after this, it would be to at least create one blog post at least, or one video called Buying in Cameron, buying a home in Cameron, Missouri, and talk about 5 bullets about fun places to hang out in the community, 3 favorite local places, local eateries, 5 reasons people like living in Cameron, cons of living in Cameron, and just, it's real simple, but it's just now at least you have that out there. And if you have a buyer that comes to you and they say, hey, we're moving to Cameron, your neighborhoods, I've learned this because like I'll get a lot of the same question over and over in my business. So I went and created blog posts about that topic. And now when somebody hits you up and they say, hey, tell me about where I should be looking in Cameron or why Cameron, now it saves you a whole lot of time and it's a whole lot more thorough. You can just copy that link, paste and send to them, say, check out my blog, and then give me a call right after. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
These are some great questions, everybody. Okay, I think we got another one over here.
Keep the questions coming because it gives us, it's
You
fun.
can ask tax questions too.
Yeah, if you want to talk taxes.
No one wants to talk taxes.
I have a 2-part question. One, I'm a new company here in town and I'm a small business. How do I compete? I'm in the floral business. How do I compete with another person in my town that is more of a chain type retailer that also offers the same type of product that I do? How do I compete with that chain as a small business?
Is the chain a florist or is the chain a Hy-Vee that sells flowers?
It's a grocery store with a
Oh,
florist
it's a
inside.
grocery store with okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But as far as I like to educate people because I love what I do.
Yep.
I moved here from a large city for, I haven't lived here forever, so I moved where there were more businesses, there were more people, there was a bigger, outlet as far as businesses. So now when you come into a town where there aren't
a lot of options,
many options, and you are competing with that type of business, what is the best way? Is it educating your customers? Is it really getting your name out there? What are the best strategies for that?
So we're both chomping at the bit. So I think that educating customers is always good. But in your situation, I'm going to answer it more direct, competing direct with a competitor. How long have you been in business?
I bought my business right after COVID hit.
And so you bought the business. Hey, I opened a store, so I talk about all the cool things I did. I opened a store in Iowa 3 months before COVID started and failed and lost my ass miserably. So that sucks. That happens. So you bought a business. So you have a customer database.
I do.
Okay. So here's the deal. You're building relationships with these customers is everything. So if I had a floral company, one thing I for sure would do is I would start a subscription type business. Okay. So I would hit up Austin, who buys flowers 4 times a year. Okay. And I'd say, hey, Austin, we have a subscription deal now where it's recurring, where you can either break it down into monthly payments, or we'll just ding your card every holiday you deem, and we'll go ahead and make sure that gets out for you. We'll give you a call to remind you everything. You could literally put it on a recurring revenue like that. Because like if you told me that I could pay either a $10 a month thing, where $120 a year, and you're going to take care of my flowers on Valentine's Day, birthday, and this, then it's automatic for me. Like, I don't think about this. I have to put in my notes, go buy flowers, and it sits there for 4 days. So right. The guys don't think of this. So if you could automate that, and now some people, they're going to be like all day. And maybe it's a little discount if they do that monthly. Now you can build a monthly recurring revenue. Maybe they say to you, I'm not going to give you access to my bank account because that's probably 60% of people. Okay, great. you should be calling those people personally and have somebody that you maybe even hire for seasonal help, that they're calling every holiday for you. Hey, Jim, I just wanted to make sure we're going to get those flowers up to your wife. We do it every year. Haven't heard from you yet. And you're drumming up, like you have to go drum up the business. You can't just expect it to come into your door.
Right.
That's the first thing I would say. Second, I would partner with local businesses. I would partner with, so right now I'm Chris and Kate's. One thing we're doing at my ice cream business is for Valentine's Day, we're gonna do chocolate covered strawberries. We're gonna do holiday trays, stuff like that. Something that we're in the ice cream business. We've never done that. We're going out and we're going to partner with a local florist and say, hey, everybody who comes to you for flowers, send them to us for their chocolates. Everybody who comes to us, send them to you. We're gonna have leverage that.
Which I have done that. I'm located inside of a salon, and there is also a catering and tux rental business within that salon. So the wide range, the big outlook for the plan of business is, weddings and events where people come into one place and they're able to schedule everything that they need for their special day or whatever it is that they're needing.
Right.
So we have done that, but
Are you actively calling customers right now?
No.
Okay. So that's,
No.
I mean, and I know,
to call someone and say, hey, I have people that have called me that are reoccurring customers, but to call them and say, you did not order.
No, but it doesn't have to be like
your
that.
wife's birthday.
But it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, okay, if you're a guy in this room, raise your hand if the first thing you remember when you get up in the morning is I need to send my wife flowers tomorrow. No, nobody's. Okay, we got one. The nicest guy in the whole room, and you know what? You have a lot more wisdom than all of us. Okay, so, but we're not going to. So if you called us and you said, I mean, I'm genuinely curious in here, guys, if you'd be bothered if you got a phone call that said, hey, we realize that your wife's birthday is in a week. We'd love to be the one to send some flowers for you. Would you want us to do that? We have a $20 option and a $40 option. Like, guys, honestly, like,
I don't think even women would mind.
So busy. Hell no, we're busy. Okay. Would any guys in here be offended or not like that? Seriously, raise your hand because I'm genuinely curious.
Somebody call my husband.
Okay, I'm gonna let Susan weigh in.
So here's one thing that you can think about to soften this a little bit, is do an email campaign. That can soften the call strategy, right? It makes it a little bit easier for you because you've already made that touch without the phone call, because that can be scary for some people. But it doesn't just have to be, you don't just have to call the men. You can call the women and say, hey, would you like us to reach out to your husband? Or your significant other, or your son, or whatever the case may be. But categorize those things, right? So you have a client base, so identify who are the husbands, who are the women, who are the business owners. Another thing that you can do, especially for businesses, is put together like a little mini arrangement or something that they could send out to their customers and deliver one of those to every single business in town that gets your name in there. It shows that you're local and what you can do. That will make such an impact that when it comes time for them to make that decision, you're the one that they're going to think of, and put it in some sort of little keepsake that they'll feel bad if they throw away. So that way it has a little bit of that staying power. But I agree with Austin. I think the calling is an awesome idea, but do an email campaign, because that's always a softening point. And it can always be, hey, we have a special coming up. I'm going to call you in a week. So that way they even know to expect it. So then you don't have to be quite so nervous that it's totally cold. It's not. You've made it warm.
Okay.
And to piggyback off that, I love the email as a soften it. And when the email doesn't get read, like 80% of emails, that's when you call. And it is warm. I'm serious. I love it.
Just having your name in the inbox.
Yeah. If Susan didn't have a marketing company, I'd be saying, why don't we go start something right now? but 100%. And the phone call doesn't have to be, you understand how it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
I don't know who the grocery store is. I'm not familiar with cameras, so I hope I don't say anything here that makes anybody mad. If it's not a local, you should be able to, I'm sorry. You should be able to whoop a grocery store in floral. The guy's not in the floral business. He is, but he's not,
But he has wonderful florists. I'm not here saying that.
I'm not trying. Now I see why you were so tender about asking. He's 5 feet in front of you. How can I whoop my customer, my competitor? We're in business to win.
That's right. That's right. We are in the swing. And another thing, I'm noticing as far as the pandemic, people are wanting things that make them feel better. Okay, they're wanting things in their homes that are gratifying. They are
Alive.
Yes,
Things that
they
are
are
alive.
looking for things that make them feel better. And like you said, educating, you don't have to talk about insurance just because you're an insurance company. Well, some of my ideas are to start educating people about plants and the benefits that plants give you. I mean, is that what you're...
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another thing to think about, and this is just an off-the-cuff story, but at the beginning of this year, I started in this leadership program, and we had to do these vision boards, and one of the things that I put on the board was just a bouquet of flowers. I'm such a practical person, I won't even let my husband buy me flowers because, they die so quickly. But I was realizing that I was denying myself the joy of the flowers before they die. So I put on my vision board, just buy the damn flowers. So I have been buying fresh flowers for my kitchen table ever since.
Yes.
So you might even think about, having those little bouquets that women can pick up and have on their desk or have on their table. And if they're inexpensive and then they last, then that's some great recurring revenue for you too.
Right, and that's where the more chain businesses do well because they are coming into the grocery store. Those bouquets are right there. They're easy to pick up while you're grocery shopping. I mean, who wouldn't do that? So that's, those are the type of things I'm trying to figure out.
But do you guys do any type of shop local campaigns here in Cameron?
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, then definitely piggyback on that and just tell them how evil the grocery store is.
I love that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
On the recurring revenue, I love that. On the recurring revenue, I really think there's a lot of value if you could build it into where you have people signed up for $10 a month. They're paying $120 a year. They're getting a $50 arrangement, and it's Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary. And you automate all of it for them, and it's just going to be $10 a month. Now it's not so hard to spend the $50 on flowers, and you're getting a discounted rate. So I think that's really has merit if you are willing to put the legwork in to start a program like that.
Okay, so you don't know a company that will do that for you?
I don't know a company that does it for you, but there's all kinds of, Stripe does automated payments every month. You can set up an account with Stripe, and you can start, all you got to do is create the marketing for the program and go.
Okay.
There's nothing you can't do on your own for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
PayPal does automated. Square, they all do automated payments.
Square does a lot of, they automatically say, once you use your card within Square, they save your email, and that's how you can get your email campaigns out.
Yeah.
We just have not done that yet, but that's been a great thing.
So do that, especially if you can offer any type of special, somebody that's already been in your store.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely.
okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Another question over here. Just kidding, I have the question.
All right.
Okay, this one's going to be for Carissa. Girl, we need to hear you talk. I would like to know, what is one of the most common mistakes that you see small business owners or entrepreneurs making in the realm of finance, moving forward with the COVID model, I guess you could say?
Leaving COVID out, I think one of the things that business owners don't like to admit is that they don't always understand finance piece of it. He's an owner of Lean Kitchen, and I do. He doesn't like the accounting piece of it. Maybe not. Okay, see? And so I think that's one important piece, and, I obviously work for an accounting firm, so I don't want it to, sound like I'm giving you a sales pitch, because it's not. I have seen so many clients that have, reached out to us and say, hey, what are you going to charge me to just enter my monthly stuff, and I say a certain amount. They're like, okay, that sounds good. I'll touch base with you in a couple months. A couple months goes by, we reach out, and like, yeah, here in a couple months, because they're like, I think I got I think I got it, because they're looking at their bank statements, they see, money's okay, and then at the end of the year, tax returns due, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done reconciliations. You've kind of looked at your bank account. You've been paying your bills. You've been receiving your, but you don't know at the end of the day how much tax you're gonna be, having to pay, if you're gonna have to, like anything. You know what I mean? It's basically planning. There's so many opportunities out there, so many resources. Even just the accounting firm I work at, all across the United States, even a small accounting firm here, they have resources to help you and your business succeed. And it's okay to ask help. I have clients all the time like, I'm sorry my stuff's a mess, I'm sorry. That's why I'm here. You are in a business of lean kitchen. You're in the business of flowers. I'm in the business of accounting. So I think, being open to suggestions. It doesn't mean I have to come in and, run the accounting piece of your business. It's just, reaching out and say, hey, I have a question. How can QuickBooks, make my life easier, I have a contractor client. I think they have like 15, 20, 30 employees. Kind of depends on the season. They build houses, and their payroll is on an automatic system. They get to the job site, they say where they're at, and if they use like a tool, their inventory is on that program too. So like that program tracks their inventory, it takes it out of their system, and then their time is already in there for payroll. It's just what you don't know what's out there that, if you just reach out ask for help, it doesn't mean that, we're going to have a relationship and I'm going to be your accountant. You can always, feel free to ask questions. I think that's realizing you can't do it all. So,
well, I think, just as a business owner, it's looking at how much time am I spending on this thing that maybe I'm not an expert at, and does it make more sense to pay someone to do it so I can focus on what I know drives revenue for the company?
Yep.
Thank you very much. I was also wondering, so what should small business owners and entrepreneurs be doing to kind of build a safety net, kind of to get back toward the core of the question, because there is so much uncertainty? What would you suggest as far as monetarily creating like a parachute for yourself? Big question. I know. I mean,
Fire everybody.
Really, it's hard to answer that because, he might have a company of 5 employees and she might have a company of, 2,500 employees. Every company is different. But, it is basically looking at your expenses. And I know, it's sometimes it does suck in some instances. So, like, do you provide employee lunches every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Do you really need to do that? Can you supplement that with something else for your employees if you want to still give them that benefit? It's looking at the cost that you don't necessarily, because you want to stay out in front of your customers. You want to do that because you want to keep your sales up. But it's looking at it comes down to your cost. What are you spending your money on that you don't necessarily need to, or what, like QuickBooks Online or even just a bill.com. You have a bookkeeper, accounts payable clerk that is spending hours upon hours each week putting all this time in, or all these invoices in it. She was able to take a picture, scan it in, and be in bill.com. Everything's right there. She can have time to do other things, be more productive, that type of thing. So, expenses.
All right, thank you. Are there any more questions from the crowd for any of the presenters? No? We all got our questions in? Okay. Well, I would like to thank our presenters for being patient and answering all our questions and giving their wonderful presentations of our product marketing and finance. If we could all just give them a round of applause. Hand it over to Dwayne.
Well, I want to thank our presenters again. They don't know it, but they're not being paid. We didn't charge. They're doing this for free. Did you know that? You can send all the invoices you want. Thank you guys for coming. I know everybody's got jobs to do and businesses to take care of. So appreciate it. I hope you got something out of this. And even if you didn't, tell me you did, so I'll feel better about it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dwayne.